Grace, Mike, that's right. A woman in her 30s was flown to a Boston area level 1 trauma center after falling off a sled and losing the ability to move her legs. A Medflight helicopter was called to Max Apples in Londonderry Sunday afternoon after a woman in her 30s fell off a sled and lost feeling and movement in her lower body.
This patient in this case was sitting sledding and hit a jump that she hadn't anticipated. When she went up on the jump and came down, she'd really landed pretty hard on her tailbone, and that thus kind of caused the injury.
The incident happened around 2:30 in the afternoon, startling dozens of families who were at Max Apples sledding down the hill.
We saw all the fire trucks and a helicopter there.
Londonderry firefighters responded to the incident, which happened at the same time as they were dealing with a gas leak on the other side of town.
What we were able to do up at the gas call, when this call came in around 14:30 hours or 2:30 p.m., we were able to release some companies that weren't really needed at the gas leak to make their way down to Max Apples to provide advanced life support as soon as possible.
No update on the victim's status at this point, but families at the sled hill say the incident made them think twice about safety.
We're taking it easy, though, making the kids slow down before they go over that big jump.
And the Londonderry Fire Department tells us that the hill behind Max Apples is quite a popular place for sledders, and some safety tips from the department if you do want to go sledding on that hill. They say take it nice and easy and scope out the slope ahead of time so you don't hit any of those unexpected bumps or jumps. They also say try and go on a less crowded day. Today, obviously a very crowded one, being a Sunday after a large snowstorm. We're live in Londonderry tonight. Scott Cook, WMUR News 9.
Scott, thank you. Turning to the forecast now as we take a look outside, and it truly is amazing what a difference a day can make. A still and quiet night there in Milford, but at this time last night we saw whipping winds and the visibility was very poor. We're joined now by meteorologist Jacqueline Thomas. Jackie, I'm happy to be indoors tonight, I have to say.
I know, you did such a great job braving those elements yesterday, and I mean, everyone really contributing to the coverage as best as we could. And, you know, as we headed through today, certainly a different day. We had the sunshine, it was much quieter, but it was cold. And as we head through the start of this week, it is going to stay quiet. We still get into the sunshine tomorrow and even Tuesday, and comes with a little bit of a warm up too, a brief thaw through the middle of the week, but that's ahead of our next chance to see some messier weather returning, some mixing possible. We'll keep an eye on that. For now, radar, very quiet. We have a mainly clear sky overhead now that that system has moved away, but we also have some cold temperatures overhead too. 9 below 0 in Whitefield. The temperature right now, -1 from Berlin and Plymouth to Lebanon, 12 above in Manchester, but only 1 in Concord. Thankfully, the winds much quieter. Just a 3-mile-per-hour wind in Concord right now, 5 miles per hour in Rochester, a 7-mile-per-hour wind in Portsmouth. A big difference from the gusts we had been dealing with. So through these next 12 hours overnight, we do stay with that mainly clear sky, but temperatures also drop below 0 across most of the state by early tomorrow morning. We do get into that sunshine. I'll let you know when the warm-up arrives, how warm it gets, and what we could be looking at later in the week. All that ahead in the full forecast.
Jackie, thanks so much. And thousands of people in Massachusetts are sitting in the dark tonight after getting slammed by yesterday's nor'easter. The city of Boston was buried with snow as coastal towns dealt with intense winds and severe flooding. Today, New Hampshire crews joined the effort to restore power there. Eversource says 50 crews and almost 200 employees were on the ground. Since the storm began, Eversource brought back power to more than 250,000 customers. We spoke with an Eversource rep who tells us power would be back to Mass customers soon, and New Hampshire crews would have a lot to do with it.
We expect that the vast majority of our customers remaining without power in Massachusetts will have power back by 11:59 p.m. Monday night tomorrow. With many and most having power restored by them.
And although they are making good progress now, Hinkle says the storm made it difficult to get off to a strong start.
Here in New Hampshire, just about everyone was on cleanup duty this morning as Granite Staters worked to dig themselves out. Your driveway probably looked like what you see right here in Salem. Coastal parts of the state saw some of the most snow, but thankfully for shovelers, the snow was light and powdery, making it easier to move. We We caught up with some folks on the coast today who are trying to clear themselves a path.
The snow is actually pretty light, but with the piles at the end of the driveway, I have my work cut out for me.
Of course, you might find yourself having to shovel some of the same snow tomorrow. That light powder tends to swirl around and build itself up into drifts. When you do go to clean up, don't forget to shovel out your nearest fire hydrant. Having access to a hydrant is critical in an emergency. Hudson Fire Department says there are more than 700 fire hydrants in their town alone, and they ask everyone to consider helping elderly friends, neighbors, or people with medical conditions to keep their hydrants clear.
There is some serious cleanup going on in Boston today. Take a look at this here. This is the scene from Logan Airport. Crews used those giant snow blowers to clear the tarmac. Here in New Hampshire, Manchester Boston Regional Airport is back in business. Airport management posted photos on social media. Crews got the runway cleaned up in time for the first commercial flight to arrive this morning.
Police are warning people to take it easy when driving in bad weather after a scary crash was caught on camera. Take a look at this. This car tries to cross the intersection of Berry Road and Route 104 in Alexandria. You see right there, it's hit by another driver. One man was taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
A Concord woman has potentially life-threatening injuries after a snowmobile accident this afternoon in Boscawen. According to New Hampshire Fish and Game, the woman accelerated into trees, fell off the snowmobile, and then slid down a steep embankment toward the Merrimack River. Another warning about thin ice tonight, this time from officials in Milton. Fire and rescue were called to the scene of two snowmobiles falling through the ice by Hideaway Lane. Those spots you see right there on the ice are where they went in. Thankfully, no one was injured. Despite how cold the weather has been, officials say you should always be careful on ice.
Tonight, a New Hampshire woman is sharing her frightening battle with long-term impacts from COVID-19. She got the virus more than a year ago, but the symptoms linger to this day. Now she's getting help.
Tanya O'Mara's health issues got so bad, she started thinking the worst was possible.
I really thought I was going to die quite a few times. I started writing letters to my kids because I didn't know what was wrong.
The Litchfield mother of 5 and her fiance, Larry Probst, contracted COVID in November of 2020. Probst was in the hospital on a ventilator. O'Mara had a more mild case, but even after that initial illness, her symptoms persisted.
The cognitive stuff is really bad. Sometimes I say the wrong words.
She says she also gets nerve pains, fatigue, shortness of breath, dizziness, among other issues.
She's had a head CAT scan. She's had a spinal scan. She's had, I don't know how many EKGs, and everything comes back normal.
Just 1 week ago, 14 months after getting COVID, O'Mara went to the post-acute COVID syndrome clinic at Dartmouth-Hitchcock Medical Center, which treats people who are experiencing symptoms months after initial infection. Dartmouth says it's seen 325 patients since the clinic started last April. O'Mara says she's now getting the help she needs. It has a long road ahead with breathing and cognitive exercises, but was told she can recover.
If it's post-COVID, there's help out there. You can recover. Your body's telling you something, so trust your body.
Over to Ottawa now, where police say multiple criminal investigations are underway related to this weekend's anti-COVID vaccine mandate demonstrations. The Freedom Convoy was in response to the Canadian government's decision to impose a vaccine mandate on cross-border truckers. The protests gained support from others opposed to recent mandates. Authorities say protesters desecrated national monuments. They're also accused of threatening and intimidating police and city workers.
A little breaking sports news tonight as Patriots quarterback Mac Jones has been named to the 2022 Pro Bowl. It's, of course, an exclamation point to Jones' rookie season as he led the Pats to a 10-7 record and a playoff berth. Jones threw 22 touchdowns and more than 3,800 passing yards on the season. He was also named to the Pro Football Writers Association's All-Rookie team.
Tonight, mixed messages from the Russian border, the behavior from the Kremlin that's turning heads in the international community.
Of course not. Oh, my goodness, no.
Governor Chris Sununu responding to recent comments from former President Trump. The rally remarks drawing pushback from fellow Republicans.
And a brief intermission sponsored by Mother Nature. How a local pond hockey tournament is bouncing back from the storm. And let's go to meteorologist Jacqueline Thomas with your wake-up weather.
Yeah, and waking up tomorrow, it is going to be a cold morning. A bright start, though, good amount of sunshine, but temperatures below zero for most of the state. Southern areas near or slightly above zero in the morning. I'll let you know when we see some warmer temperatures arrive in the forecast coming up.
Tonight, the international community is trying to understand mixed messages from Russia. Russian leadership has pulled back some troops from the Ukrainian border, but is still sending out military equipment.
And now the U.S. ambassador to the UN is calling for a meeting. Mary Alice Parks has more.
Russia says it is returning some of its troops back to their bases after a planned combat readiness check, while thousands still line Ukraine's border. Russia continues to send military equipment to the border, too. This new video showing Russian military vehicles being moved to Belarus, north of Ukraine, where Russian troops have been positioned for nearly 2 weeks. These mixed messages from the Kremlin come as the U.S. has called for a UN Security Council meeting. The U.S. ambassador to the UN is saying that the meeting is an opportunity for the Russians to find a diplomatic way out.
We've made clear that we're prepared to address our concerns, Ukrainian concerns and Russian concerns at the diplomatic table, but it cannot be done on the battlefield.
Ukraine's foreign affairs minister tweeted, if Russian officials are serious when they say they don't want a new war, Russia must continue diplomatic engagement and pull back military forces it amassed along Ukraine's border. Canada's defense minister arrived in Kyiv on Sunday for talks with her Ukrainian counterpart, Canada temporarily withdrawing non-essential personnel from its embassy in Ukraine. And the United Kingdom says that it will consider a major military deployment to support NATO allies along Europe's eastern border with Russia. Since Ukraine is not a part of NATO, it's unclear how the U.S. and the alliance will support that country if it is attacked.
I'll be moving U.S. troops to Eastern Europe and the NATO countries in the near term. Not a lot.
The Pentagon says that Russia could attack Ukraine with very little warning.
This is larger in scale and scope and the massing of forces than anything we have seen in recent memory.
But Ukraine's President Zelensky has been critical of the United States for overstating the crisis. A U.S. official telling ABC News Zelensky is, quote, downplaying the risk of invasion. Mary Alice Parks, ABC News, Washington.
Former President Donald Trump is turning heads this weekend after recent comments at a rally that implied he would pardon January 6th rioters if reelected president.
If I run and if I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly. We will treat them fairly. And if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons because they are being treated so unfairly.
The former president's remarks have drawn criticism and pushback from fellow Republicans, including Governor Chris Sununu.
Look, the folks that were part of the riots and frankly the assault on the U.S. Capitol have to be held accountable. There is a rule of law. I don't care whether you were part of the burning cities and Antifa in 2020, you were storming the Capitol in 2021. Everybody needs to be held fairly accountable across. That's part of leadership.
They shouldn't be pardoned.
Of course not. Oh my goodness, no.
Former President Trump has not formally